We're in beautiful downtown Springfield.
Everything just seems authentic here.
It's a big city that's a small town.
You just walk around the town, you know, and just go into a local coffee shop, just, you know, strike up a conversation with people.
There it is, skeleton. We were out making a little bit of noise, getting written up here and there, and you know, looked like we might be on our way. This area of Missouri was populated by people who migrated over from Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia. People who came over here, they saw the land, they lighted on it, they got busy, and lots of little towns sprung up around here, with Springfield kind of emerging as a big one after a railroad came through here.
Raise your window high, little Clancy coming home.
Because of Route 66, it was one of the main thoroughfares, but it also had such a country feel to it because these were country singers, you know, and these were people who came out of those hills or hills like that. And I think people felt comfortable going there. I think it gave them a sense of home. It was not a big city like Nashville. It wasn't someplace, you know, where you're dealing, you know, with people who necessarily look down on you. You know, you'd go into town and everybody, you'd be the star.
Yeah, it is kind of nowhere. And it's right there in the center of nowhere. As Lou Whitney used to say, it was the Springfield, Missouri, the buckle of the Bible Belt, you know. The history of people passing through there, of important musical people passing through Springfield, yeah, it was a hotbed.
Right there was the house, big two-story Victorian brick that the Carter family lived in when they were in Springfield, Missouri. At least that's the story I hear from everybody, that they lived there. Carter family, right there.
Springfield was really important to country music for a short period of time. It was in the 1950s, right when, you know, rock and roll was coming on. You know, the Ozark Jubilee started in 1955, and it was the most popular country music television show of its time.
Coast to coast from Springfield, Missouri, it's Ozark Jubilee. This week presenting sensational...
I remember seeing Johnny Cash for the very first time on this show. That music blew me away.
It was the first show of its type. It was country music, but it was with class.
Friends, here's little Miss T&T, Brenda Lee.
You know, it was on ABC TV on Saturday nights, and it got a huge audience at a time that country music was really struggling to keep its audience.
You're dynamite, dynamite. Hey, baby, when you kiss it, dynamite. Hey, baby, when you hug and hold me tight. Springfield was a wonderful, wonderful town that treated me like a little princess. And I loved them, and they loved me.
Good night, folks. Wonderful to be with you. I hope all of you live 1,000 years and we never die. Thank you very much. Good night.
When the Ozark Jubilee packed up their tent and moved to Nashville, there were some of the musicians who were up in the Ozarks who just went, hey, wait a minute. I'm not leaving here.
Springfield became a recording center, one, because it had this great guy named Lou Whitney that people loved. Great musician, great guy, very relaxed. You could go, you know, walk in the storefront and not be pressured, not worry about time. And make it this sort of, you know, organic music. It wasn't a real high-tech studio, but they loved the sound.
Springfield, it's not really near anything. It takes an effort to drive to fly to. But you can also use it to your advantage, I think. When you have that kind of isolation, you're in that studio, you're in that enclosed world down there. You can really just focus on what you want to do. I think that can be really artistically useful.
Lou recorded my junior high band. I just looked him up in the, you know, the studio is called The Studio, so I just looked it up in the phone book and I called and he answered and asked him when we could come in. And, you know, by the way, I was like 13 years old.
It's funny, I always thought of Lou as this, you know, like this sort of real upper echelon producer. And even when I had sort of moved on to the point where I met these upper echelon producers, I never thought any of them were any better.
I just remember like playing as hard as I could and trying as hard as I could and looking in the control room in the middle of the song, we were butchering it, and Lou was just, he was like, he saw me and he just started rocking out. Just, I think he, you know, he wanted me to know it was okay.
And Lou, he wanted to stay in Springfield. He wanted to stay here. And that was the best thing for Springfield.
Uncle Joe, Mama's gonna wash you in a goldfish bowl. I said a hip hop.
My name is Joe Terry. I've been in Springfield since 1979. That's about 35 years. And I play piano and organ in the Skeletons.
I'm Bobby Lloyd Hicks. I play the drums and I sing. I moved here in 1965.
I am D. Clinton Thompson. I play guitar. I've lived in Springfield for 53 years.
Oh, hi. I'm Lou Whitney. I live in Springfield, Missouri. I have this little recording studio I've had for quite some time. And I've played in a handful of bands with some great guys. And I'm sitting here with Dave Hoekstra, just waiting for the next question.
I never read it in a book, I never saw it on a show, but I heard it in the alley on a weird radio. If you want a drink of water, you got to get it from a well. If you want to get to heaven, you got to raise a little hell. I never thought it'd be so easy, I never thought it'd be so fun, but I heard it in the alley, now I got it on the run. If you want to know a secret, you got to promise not to tell. If you want to get to heaven, you got to raise a little hell.